Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're talking about the vehicle preparedness, and knowing me guys, I have a story behind it. If you follow the channel, you know, and I've done this on the many videos, my van is pretty well kitted out in terms of an emergency. I normally have my EDC kit in a glove box because generally, as you know, I don't really walk anywhere, especially after the incident with the school run. I no longer walk to school as well. So my EDC is unfortunately in my glove box. I have a really comprehensive first aid kit. I have a big full get home bag, and I have a winter preparedness kit. This is applicable to all of the vehicles we have. Mr. Daniel also had that in the car just as an emergency. On the top of that, of course, I've got extra bits and bobs like kicking around in the van for an emergency, like spare bits of clothing, things like that. So the point is, guys, right, how ready are you? Are you actually ready for every eventuality that potentially can happen? Well, to be frank, I wasn't. So now listen up, the whole idea, right, of me bringing up my stories, because we're all learning from our mistakes, and hopefully then you get to learn from my mistakes or certain things that happen, so we can genuinely as a community share and learn certain things that are happening and improve our preparedness. So here we go. As I said to you guys, I no longer walk to school. I do drive because of the incident of potential abduction. So now every day, without a fail, we are driving to school and driving back from school. For the past week or so, the weather has been absolutely atrocious and it has been raining a lot. Nonetheless, guys, one day I've driven to school to pick my little one up, and I parked up, and I struggled to get into the parking space because that car park is really tight, and my van is really big. Nonetheless, I did a lot of small turns and things like that, trying to get in the space, but I managed a-okay. Afterwards, right, I picked up my little one and we get ready to go home. I started to turn the van on and it won't work. And it came up with the Immobilizer active. So I'm like, okay, Immobilizer, that thing obviously immobilizes the vehicle in potential theft. So if somebody tries to get in and, put the wrong key in type thing, obviously it locks the car, or the van in fact, so the van wouldn't go anywhere. So I'm like, okay, not a big deal, we can figure this out. I thought initially that it would have been to do with me trying to get the van in a small little pushes, if that makes sense. Maybe the van thought that somebody tried to steal this. Anyway, so, okay, I thought it'd be fine. Turn it on and off a few times. It didn't. So, okay. At that point, right, it was literally pissing down with rain. It was the heaviest rain we had for a very long time. And it was raining for like a week on end, okay? So there was like water everywhere. So my first initial thoughts, okay, we have to walk home. Wasn't really impressed. But the point is, first point, okay, I had my little child with me. It was really raining, really heavily. First thing to point, if you haven't got, if you do live in, Wales or UK, it rains a lot recently, especially. Make sure you have wellies, an umbrella, and a raincoat, okay, a rain waterproof jacket, anything of a kind. Because to be fair, we're absolutely grateful I had the spare clothing, okay, and spare shoes, especially wellies, to put on us when we walked home. It's not particularly the huge walk home, but nonetheless, in a really strong rain and with the massive paddles on there, that was absolute savior. So you might be wondering why on earth we haven't called the a breakdown cover. Well, unfortunately, it's kind of evaded us, and we totally forgot to renew this on that van. So as you know, if you don't have a breakdown cover, if you do call the breakdown company, they will charge you a massive fee for the call out on the top of already really expensive yearly fee. So anyway, so I came home, right, and I'm thinking, well, what we're going to do, we're going to try to figure out what the issue was. So doing a quick look online, it kind of indicated a couple of things, and first people said, well, actually, it could be a key, so you have to try a spare key, or second thought, it was one of those ignition rings that was on the outside of the key. That might be familiar to some of you. This is where you put the key in, you got the metal, the key thingy, and this sits around it. Apparently that thing also has a chip. So like, okay, so there's a couple of options to try. Because it was so wet and it was late in the day, the van stayed at the school car park, to my embarrassment. So the following day, I'm like all happy to go. So let's go and test the key. Chances are probably just the key for battery. So when I went in there, try this, and well, it didn't work. So to my embarrassment, I have to speak to Mr. Daniel and say, well, actually, what should we do? And we knew the second option was to go and purchase one of those things. So anyway, to my disappointment, I had to walk home again and then get into another vehicle and then drive to a local garage, which we have, and gladly they had a replacement one of those things. So all I did, I come home, Mr. Danny said, grab some screwdrivers, okay, and walk to the school again and, get that fixed. So I'm like, okay, let's put my pants on the outside again. Let's walk to school, get some screwdrivers. So there's me going to Mr. Daniel's garage. He made some suggestions of the size of the screwdrivers, things like that. So I pushed it in my bag and off I popped to school in a pissing rain again. So get there and I started to unpick. You have to unpick the steering wheel apart, like the whole bit that steering wheel goes into. Excuse the vaguity. Nonetheless, and when I got to the bottom to actually see the screwdriver that I needed, I didn't have, right? So I had to go back again, speak to Mr. Daniel, find the correct size. It was like a really weird flower-shaped thing. And then walk back again, okay? And it was annoying because it was really, really wet. I was really frustrated. And the fact I was frustrated on, guys, that I didn't have the correct screwdriver in the van, okay? I have everything you can possibly think as an emergency kit, 3 days worth of food. Everything is in there, but I did not have the correct screwdriver. So nonetheless, once I got what I needed, I managed to get there. I piss-farted around, taking the steering wheel apart. Yes, I did it myself. I did it. I've changed that little ring thing. It's kind of plug and play. So, and hey presto, the van is started. So the moral of the story is, okay, it's not a big deal. It wasn't a big deal, but it was annoying. And the fact it was annoying that as a prepper, I feel that I failed of not having the little kit like this. Okay, this is the Bosch, but again, it could be many things, many branded things there. They have all the attachment, including the little different flower-shaped things. So all that costed me is walking back and forth in a rain a couple of times to get that right. So whether if I had this in my van, I would kind of save myself embarrassment and time and not getting so wet because of the, the rubbish weather. So that, okay. So now, okay, the question is to you guys. I know we're all preparing for all sorts of things, but do you actually have a set of screwdrivers in your vehicle? I have a multi-tool, but that multi-tool was no use to me whatsoever. And I was lucky, okay, that my home is not that far away from school, or vice versa. Lucky that I had another vehicle to actually go and get the part and actually be able to do ourselves, just to save the emergency call out. Yes, we've got the AA cover now. It's like a few £100 if you wanted to cover everything, which is absolutely ridiculous. But the moral of the story is, I think as a prepper, okay, I've missed it. I've missed that little thing. And I think it would have just made the whole world of difference. So I don't think Mr. Daniel going to give me that, but I do have a bunch of other screwdrivers that stuff that now in the van just in case. So the point is to you, okay, if you're stranded, chances are you probably will have the breakdown cover. But in a certain circumstances, okay, for simple fixes, certain things, because it's really difficult to foresee what possibly could actually happen, where you might be lucky enough at the garage nearby, so that kind of things. But screwdriver, wellies, and the waterproofs, okay? If I had all of that, that would have been amazing. But I had the waterproofs and the wellies, it still kind of made a bit of difference. So my point is, just look outside the box when you're preparing and learn from my mistakes. So don't just go and find yourself some kit of screwdrivers, but make sure that it does include every single bit of them in there. And another suggestion as well, yes, there is a little flat, 2 flat screwdrivers and a flat head, but I suggest you get some sort of plastic trim opener, because I had to use some weird, a bigger screwdriver that none of that wouldn't work to actually prise the steering wheel apart. There's like little tongs in there, so that's that. So this is my advice to you guys. Anyway, well, hopefully you find this useful. As I said, the idea is of my channel is to make sure that we share the knowledge, be it from a really bad experience, but nonetheless, I think it's very important. If you missed any of those videos, guys, I've got the videos on the first aid kit, my EDC, my get home bag, my bag out bag. It's all there somewhere in the channel. If I can find them, I'll put the links down for you. But otherwise, guys, yes, sorry for rambling. I hope you find this helpful. Don't forget thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.